guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Kylie and today I thought I would share a little bit about my disability. So what I have is a neurological disorder called Charcot-Marie-Tooth. It's basically a neurological disorder that affects the nerves and the muscles in the body. It's actually named after the 3 scientists who discovered it way back in the 1800s. A typical symptom of Charcot-Marie-Tooth is weakness in the legs and the feet, and that's what has happened to me over time. Charcot-Marie-Tooth is also degenerative, which means that over time, as I get older, it will get worse. The weakness in the legs and the feet can result in frequent falls and tripping, which I have experienced growing up. Also later on in the disease, as it progresses, there can be a weakness in the hands, which I have. I have weakness in my fingers and my wrists. I can't really lift it up without the use of gravity or some sort of angles, so I can do this. But if it's horizontal, it's not gonna work. I can move it a bit, but I can't lift it up. I can't move my fingers. Yeah, like I can't. You can see it a little bit, but I can't straighten them at all. My left hand is a little looser than my right hand. I don't have any strength in it at all. Especially like again in my left wrist is a lot it's a lot weaker than my right wrist. They're both weak, but my right hand is my stronger hand and my left hand is a lot weaker. Some people with Charcot-Marie-Tooth, myself included, need to use leg braces in order to help them walk. This is my leg brace. It looks bigger than it is on camera, but it's really small. I have small legs. So basically the top part here with the strap would go on my upper calf, and then this strap just goes onto my ankle area. This is really old. I've had this for a while. There's like flowers on the back, and I don't know how long I've had these. I've probably since I was in high school. I need more grown-up braces. I forgot to mention that I don't need my leg braces to help me walk, obviously. The reason why I still use them is because I don't have the ability to move my foot or my toes at all. I don't think I've ever had the ability to do so. So what my braces do is it not only protects my feet from any injury, but it also helps with the strength in my legs. So if I'm transferring onto, say, the couch, it's a lot safer for me to have my braces on than not have them on, because it will help me have stability to go from one surface to another. It will also prevent me from twisting my ankle, getting it caught somewhere. Because I don't have the ability to move my foot, again, it's a little dangerous to just let it be free. Also, I can't put really any shoes on my feet. They're pretty small by themselves, and if I did put any shoes on, they would fall right off, even if they were my size, I feel like, because again, I don't have the strength to keep them on. So yeah, I just use the braces for safety and stability rather than helping me walk. I used to, when I was walking, use them to help with walking properly and stability as well. I did use them when I was walking, which would help with my stability and also the strength in my feet. Since I didn't have any, and I still don't have any, it was a lot safer to have a plastic brace on my leg, helping my ankles stay strong and not just flop all over the place. I also have a hand brace. This looks really big on camera too, but this helps stretch out my right hand because it is really tight, and sometimes it can get too tight. So what this will do is it will help stretch it. I wear it about 2 to 3 times a week. I wear it at nighttime though, so this way it doesn't get in the way of doing any of my daily tasks. So my fingers will just be strapped in here, and there's like little finger separators on the inside, and then my thumb straps in here, and then the rest of my arm goes down on the bottom and is strapped in. It can hurt though after wearing it for a few hours. Sometimes I'll wake up and my hand will be kind of in a little bit of pain, so I would just take it off. But it's not major pain, it's just like it's been stretching for too long and it doesn't want to anymore. Sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and my brace is off and I had no memory of it, so it's like my unconscious mind didn't want it on. There are different types as well of Charcot-Marie tooth. I think there's about 5, and I have CMT2. So that means that my nerves are damaged. To give you a metaphor for what's going on inside of my body, my dad actually told me this. So this is just my phone charger, and basically the white rubber part of the charger, it represents the myelin sheath on your nerves that's wrapped around your nerves. That basically not only protects your nerves, but it helps to send the signal from your brain to whatever body part through your nerves. And then the inside are the little wires, and those are your nerves. Those are what's damaged inside of me. So if the myelin sheath, the white rubber part, was damaged, it'd be a lot easier to fix, just sort of patch it up. I haven't heard much about research going on for CMT in quite a few years. The last time I heard anything, they were working on a cure for CMT1, and I think they were pretty successful so far, but besides that, I haven't heard anything else. I'm sure there's stuff going on and I just haven't heard of it. The reason why I wanted to make this video was to talk about my life and my story revolving around my disability. I feel like it's pretty interesting, and usually when I tell people about what I've been through, they're very fascinated, if you will. And basically, I was born with this disability. I was diagnosed around 18 months, probably a little bit before that. I was actually diagnosed at first with what's called clubfoot, which means your toes point towards each other when you're walking. The doctors actually performed surgery on my feet, basically around my feet. So around the back of my ankle and on both sides of my feet. Well, it turns out I didn't have clubbed foot, so I don't know how necessary the surgery was. It may have helped me. I'm not sure what would have happened if they didn't do the surgery, because they obviously did. My mom realized that I, after the surgery, wasn't running or jumping or skipping as much as another girl my age who got the same surgery as well. She was running and jumping and everything like a little girl does, and I probably was running and everything, but just not as well or as coordinated. So that's when we went back to the doctors, and that's when they diagnosed me with CMT. I was actually walking up until I was about 11 years old. I remember I was in grade 6, and I remember falling 2 times for no reason. One time I was just walking in the hall. There was nothing on the ground. My shoelaces weren't untied, and I just fell right on my butt. My legs just said, nope, not doing it anymore, and so I fell. And it's really startling when you just fall out of nowhere for no reason. Another time I was in class and I was walking in between a row of desks, and essentially the wall with the windows, but it had a bookshelf along the bottom, and I was going to go get something, and I fell again straight on my butt. And on my way down, I brought everything that was on the shelf with me, and so I not only scared myself, but I scared the entire classroom. It's funny looking back on it, but at the time it was really scary because when you're so used to just being able to walk on your own, and then all of a sudden, maybe the next day you're starting to fall a lot, it's scary. I remember another time I was coming back from recess, and at my grade school they had a huge soccer field. It was really long, and I would always go to the very end and I would just play with my friends during recess. I remember a specific day when we were walking back to go back to class, and I was holding on to one of my friends. I was holding on to her arm, and I was holding on for dear life because my legs just felt like they were going to collapse from underneath me. And I knew that if she would let go of me or make me let go of her, I would be on the ground and I would not be able to get back up. So I can still remember the fear of that moment. Just that if she lets go, I'm done. I'm on the ground and I'm not getting back up. So my grade 6 teacher, I remember him telling my parents that I should probably get some sort of walking assistant device, whether it be a walker or crutches or a cane or whatever. I just needed something to help me get around without falling and then potentially hurting myself. So I ended up getting a walker, and that didn't last very long. I didn't really use it as a walker properly for very long. I started to sit on the seat most of the time just because my feet and my legs they felt so tired. They felt like I walked a very long marathon, but I didn't. I probably walked 5 feet. So I remember my teachers always making me get up because they wanted me to keep that strength. They didn't want me to lose the ability to walk. But every time I would go to walk, I would basically be walking on my tippy toes because I would be holding myself up by the handles. That ended up hurting the palm of my hands quite a bit. So we ended up having to wrap foam around the handles in order to make my hands a little more comfortable. And it helped for a bit, but I could just still feel my legs not wanting to work. So I then remember in the summer between grade 6 and grade 7, my physiotherapist recommended that I get a wheelchair. So I did, and I ended up having to use a rental manual wheelchair for a bit, and then I got my own personalized one. But I ended up going into grade 7 in a manual wheelchair. So all of a sudden, I go from walking on my own to walking with a walker to being in a wheelchair and not being able to walk that well, if at all. It all happened within about a year and a half, approximately. So it was pretty fast. And I remember in grade 8, it was right before I graduated school, and I was talking to a friend, and they told me how everyone was so shocked and scared and upset when they saw me come into school on the first day in a wheelchair. It scared them because the day before they saw me walking and using a walker, and then the next thing you know, I'm in a wheelchair. So it's not only traumatic and shocking to me, but it was to everyone around me. But because I grew up with this disability, I was able to adapt really quickly, and in fact, I felt a lot better. I felt much safer. I felt happier in a wheelchair. It was better than walking and being terrified every moment of falling. I would prefer to be in a wheelchair and not have that anxiety all the time than have the ability to walk, but be scared of falling. And then, not for years and years later, did I notice any difference in my body. And now it's more so just a problem with my right hand. It's just a bit of tightness and not really weakness, but it's just tight. So it's a little difficult to open sometimes. It's difficult to grab onto things because I can't open my hands all the time, and that's where the brace comes in. Now I'm 23 years old and I've been in a wheelchair for approximately 11 years. So by this point I'm used to it. And then when I was in grade 9, I went to obviously a new school. It was a high school. It was a lot bigger than my grade school. So using my manual was a bit difficult. My manual was also heavy. It wasn't like a sports wheelchair at all, where it was a lot lighter. It was a bit difficult to push myself from class to class. We had 5 minutes in between each class to get to our next one, and it was becoming really difficult for me to push myself and get there really fast. And we also had, I think, we had 3 big ramps. They were pretty steep, so pushing myself up those was pretty difficult. I decided that I needed a power wheelchair, and I think about halfway through grade 9, I think I was about in second semester, I got a rental power wheelchair, and then I got my own. Both my manual and my electric chairs have been replaced because they were so old, and my manual chair was not fitting me anymore. It was very uncomfortable, and my electric chair was just dying because I used that throughout high school, and then I used it in university, and so that really put a toll on it. So it was time to go, and I got a new manual wheelchair in, I think it was March or April of 2018, and then I got a new electric wheelchair in April 2019. I love my new wheelchairs. They're awesome. They fit me a lot better. They're very comfortable, especially my manual wheelchair. Another thing that I have, though, that's irrelevant to Charcot-Marie-Tooth is scoliosis. So that's just pretty much curvature of the spine. And you probably can't see just because of the angle, but I lean this way and I kind of twist in a bit. If you ever see me shifting in my seat, it's because my back is very curved and I do get a lot of back pain, and because of the way it's curved, it puts a lot of weight on my left upper thigh and butt. So what that ends up doing is it cuts off the circulation a little bit to my left foot. So I just have to move it around a bit, wake it up, let the blood flow again. That's usually why I'll be shifting. Any pain that I have is because of my scoliosis. I have no pain because of my Charcot-Marie-Tooth. My scoliosis can be fixed and the pain can be fixed. So I know that that will eventually go away one day. Because of my disability, I've had to adapt and I've had to learn how to do things differently from what I was used to, but I was pretty good at it. I said to someone once that if I had to choose which disability I would have, if I had no option, I would definitely choose this one. I think that I got lucky. I think it could have been worse. I know it sounds funny. It sounds like I'm picking numbers for the lottery, but it's true. I mean, my life could be worse. My disability could be worse. I could have less functioning. I could have less independence. So I just consider myself lucky. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you've learned a little bit. I'm going to leave a link in the description for a website that's really great on telling everything about Charcot-Marie-Tooth. If you're interested, maybe you can do your own research and check it out. It's pretty interesting disability. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at LifeSittingDown. Make sure you also like this video, leave a comment if you want, and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Bye.